You won't be able to take her in.
Huh? If I want your opinion, I'll apply for legal aid, OK?
She's right, you know, love.
Look, I take my childcare and responsibilities seriously, Betty. Me and Belle are bonding.
Will you come this way, please?
You know, Laura, this is going to be the happiest week of my life.
If Kim gets sent down, you mean?
When she gets sent down, let's look on the bright side.
Well, I wouldn't count on it. I better go.
Do anything to be able to get in there with you.
Do you want me to have a word with the defence? Ask them to call you first?
Very funny.
All stand.
Are you Kim Jane Marchant?
I am.
Are you Stephen Marchant?
Yes.
You are both charged with theft. That on September 15th, 1998, you stole a stallion, Orsino, valued at £300,000. How do you plead? Mrs. Marchant.
Not guilty.
Mr. Marchant.
Guilty.
You are further charged with attempting to obtain money by deception, namely the insurance from the loss of the horse Orsino. How do you plead? Mrs. Marchant.
Not guilty.
Mr. Marchant.
Guilty.
Mr. Marchant, you are further charged with attempted murder in that on the night of September 15th, 1998, you drove a vehicle at high speed at one Mrs. Cathy Glover with the intent of killing her. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
You may both sit down.
Your Honour, I appear for the prosecution. My learned friend, Mr. Derbyshire, appears as defence counsel for Mrs. Marchant, and my learned friend, Mr. Keating, appears as defence counsel for Mr. Marchant. Your Honour, the accused, Mr. and Mrs. Marchant, are bound together not only by the vows of marriage, but by greed and ambition. They enjoyed wealth. So when they lost all their money, they decided to take desperate measures. Mrs. Marchant will claim that her husband acted alone, but the prosecution will seek to prove that they acted together in planning the theft and the ensuing deception. The plan went disastrously wrong, so much so that in his determination to avoid recognition and capture, Mr. Marchant deliberately tried to kill an innocent young woman, Mrs. Cathy Glover, who had the misfortune to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Miss Dixon, you agreed a price of £200,000 and at midday on the 15th of September 1998, you met with Mr. Marchant in woods near the home farm stud, where he handed over Orsino in exchange for cash. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did Mr. Marchant seem to be knowledgeable about horses?
Well, he brought me the right one.
Let me put it another way. It was Mrs. Marchant who worked at the stud, not Mr. Marchant. She knew all about horses and their value. Doesn't it seem improbable that he could have acted alone without her expertise and knowledge?
Your Honour, my learned friend is inviting the witness to speculate.
I agree. Please disregard that question.
The theft took place in broad daylight. Mrs. Marchant worked at the stud. It must have been very difficult for Mr. Marchant to steal the horse without his wife noticing.
Your Honour...
Miss Sharp, I am not happy with this line of questioning.
Very well, Your Honour. I have no more questions.
Get out of that one, Kim, dear.
Stay there.
She don't know everything that you get up to, Dad. Yeah, well, I've more practice than yon, Pillock.
Miss Dixon, did you at any time during the planning and execution of the theft have any dealings with my client, Mrs. Marchant?
No.
Did Mr. Marchant at any time suggest that my client was involved?
No.
Thank you, Miss Dixon.
So what's the prosecution, counsel? I hope she's got the instincts of a Rottweiler.
Why don't you get yourself some lunch?
So who exactly did they see this morning? I mean, it can't have been many. Hasn't been enough time.
Chris, I can't tell you what's going on in there. Not until you've given evidence.
Oh, come on, Laura. Don't be so stuffy. Take your lawyer's wig off. We're friends, aren't we?
We might not be for much longer if you don't give it a rest.
Kim, how nice to see you here. Enjoying your last hours of freedom?
Do you mind if we eat somewhere else?
What for?
The words condemned, hearty and breakfast come to mind.
There's a slug in my salad.
You should eat it. It's better than the stuff you'll get in prison.
Mr. Shepherd, on the evening of September the 15th, 1998, you were working as a security guard on the home farm stud.
That's right, yes.
Now, as we know, earlier that day, the horse Orsino was stolen and another horse, Toby, was placed in his stall. During the course of the evening, did you look in Orsino's stall?
No.
Why was that?
Mrs. Marchant said she'd checked the stalls.
Is that usual?
No.
If you had checked, would you have noticed that the horse in the stall was not, in fact, Orsino?
I think so. I'd have certainly noticed that one of the stalls was empty.
Is it fair to assume that Mrs. Marchant would have noticed that Orsino was missing?
If I would, she would.
So we have to ask why, on that night of all nights, Mrs. Marchant offered to check the stalls. Was it perhaps to conceal the fact that the most valuable horse in the entire stud was missing?
You'd better ask her.
Don't worry, Mr. Shepherd, I intend to.
What do you reckon, Betty, about them horses?
Oh, I don't know, love. I can never tell the difference between a dray horse and a Derby winner.
I've been having that trouble for years, Betty.
Shh. Mr. Shepherd, was this the first time that my client, Mrs. Marchant, had checked the stalls?
No, she did it from time to time.
So, not that unusual then? You didn't walk around with Mrs. Marchant while she made her check?
No, of course I didn't.
So, you don't know how thorough she was?
No.
You don't know whether she looked into every stall or whether she had a casual glance as she walked by? Mr. Shepherd?
No, I don't know.
Exactly. You don't know. In fact, I think it would be fair to say that your so-called evidence amounts to little more than guesswork. Don't you agree?
Chris, I'm not sure I can go through with this.
Of course you can. The whole village is rooting for you.
Maybe, but I'm the one who's got to stand up there.
Well, it won't be too bad. It'll be over before you know it.
You know, Steve could go to prison for a long, long time.
Oh, come on, Kathy. I mean, don't tell me you're starting to feel sorry for him. He deserves everything he gets. For goodness sake, he tried to kill you.
Yeah, well, it all hinges on what I say.
Well, tell them what happened. How he saw you in the road. How he drove the car straight at you. Just tell the truth. That's all you have to do.
I'd called round at the Marchants to see if I could get Steve, Mr. Marchant, to sign up for the fun run.
And who was there when you arrived?
Mrs. Marchant and Zoe Tate, her stepdaughter. They'd been having dinner.
Mr. Marchant?
He was upstairs making some phone calls.
Did you see him up there?
No, I didn't want to disturb him.
Well, how can you be certain he was there?
Because Kim, Mrs. Marchant, went upstairs to ask him about the fun run, and she shouted to him through the door.
Did he reply?
I didn't hear him.
You wouldn't. By his own admission, we know that he wasn't there. The question is whether Mrs. Marchant knew that. What did she do when she came downstairs?
She said he'd be down soon, and then she took some rubbish outside.
Can you say what time that was?
As a matter of fact, I can. It must have been just before 10.
How can you be so sure of that?
Because I went home soon afterwards. I switched the television on. I'd missed the first part of the 10 o'clock news.
So, Mrs. Marchant was outside the cottage, on her own, just before 10 o'clock. Long enough to make a phone call?
Yes, as I told the police.
Mrs. Marchant came back in, having dealt with the rubbish. What happened then?
We chatted for a few more minutes, then Mr. Marchant came downstairs.
What did he say?
He said he'd be delighted to do the fun run.
So he got the message, one way or another.
Mrs. Marchant asked him.
Indeed she did. And if Mr. Marchant wasn't in the house when Mrs. Marchant went upstairs, how can she have communicated with him except by phone?
She'll be hungry, Your Honour. She's got all her legs, hasn't she, Dad? I were the same.
It's not that, Your Honour. She's wet. It must be the excitement. I'll go and change her.
Remove that child at once, or you'll be held in contempt of court.
Well, keep your wig on. We don't want to get in the wrong impression of British justice, do we?
Leave this court.
I bet you feel like a good cry too.